Segment 2, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hersh and myself. Dial us up on the web at ntnm.org, where over 50,000 shows have been watched on YouTube. You'll get all the links there for the past shows, future shows, present shows, the whole shot. Community policing is something we're very big on, caps24.org. And it is my pleasure to introduce somebody who's been here under a large variety of roles over the years, the executive director of the Rogers Park community, Liz Vitell. How are you?
Good. How are you, Avi?
Very good, thank you. Tell us what's doing with the Rogers Park Community Council.
Well, since I was here not that long ago, in the same calendar year, I thought maybe this time I would tell you a little bit about the Rogers Park Community Development Corporation, which is a subsidiary but separate not-for-profit that's also under my executive directorship. Because as you know, the Rogers Park Community Council has a lot of programs. We do senior programming, we do youth programming, we have a domestic violence program, and also an immigration center. But the CDC, as we like to call it, does some really interesting things.
The Center for Disease Control.
Yeah, so the Community Development Corporation.
Oh, okay.
Does a lot of things that I think your viewership might be interested in, especially in these tough economic times. And one of those is first-time home buyer training. So when somebody is looking to buy a home for the first time, there's a lot of different loan products and a lot of fast-talking mortgage brokers will come at you and tell you things. So there's a course, both a short one that's a couple of hours and a long one that's 8 hours, that really puts home buyers through some paces so that they can speak the language. This I really recommend for everybody. Also, the Rogers Park Community Development Corporation exclusively runs 3 employer-assisted housing programs, one for the Chicago Public Schools, one for Loyola University, and one for the City Colleges of Chicago. So these are, for eligible employees, they get a forgivable grant from CPS, for example.
Oh, so these are people that work for the public schools or work for the junior colleges, and et cetera.
And our group administers the grant program. These are forgivable loans that, as long as they remain in the property or remain employed for a certain number of years, it gets forgiven a little bit at a time monthly.
Wow.
So this is a great program, and the staff at the Community Development Corporation have developed an expertise in employee-assisted housing programs.
Now, is the Community Development Corporation in the same office as the...
We were until very recently, and because of space considerations, the CDC moved to Lunt. The Community Council is at 1530 West Morse, and the CDC is at 1409 to 11, 2 storefronts, Lunt, West Lunt. So actually it's right across the street from the Heartland Cafe.
Oh, yeah, that's right near the L. Okay,
right near the L.
One's on one side of the L, one's on the other side of the L.
Yeah, it's really great for people coming to see us. Also, there's a program called Find Your Place in Chicago, and this is really an amazing program that's administered. It's from the city, through the Housing Department and the Chicago Community Trust. And this is a program where, they tore down most of the old public housing developments, the old CHA
on the south
buildings.
Side and all that.
And on the west side.
Green and...
Yeah, and they've replaced them with mixed housing. You can get $10,000 grant if you qualify and buy in some of these developments.
Really?
It's really an excellent program, and again, the CDC is the exclusive administrator of this. So there's a website, findyourplaceinchicago.org. You can also find out about it through 311, and then they'll refer you to the CDC so that they can help go through the paperwork. So this is a really interesting program. We also do foreclosure counseling, which is the sad part, but it's huge right now. We're getting a lot of walk-ins. You can't do enough foreclosure counseling. We actually had to hire another person to take on some of it. So we urge people to come as soon as you get in trouble, not after they already sue you, to seek counseling, and we can provide that. And of course, it's free of charge.
And there's foreclosure too, because sometimes, what we were talking off the air earlier about what Tom Dart's been doing, which I think has been terrific. One of the things that, my mind clicked, the court gave him latitude to pretty much do what he wants to, to use his own judgment not in cases where people really haven't paid rent and all that, but in cases where somebody owns and all the rest of it. And I think I said of 110 that of the first 110, 107 were given more time?
Well, what he was concerned about is what we call the foreclosure-based evictions, which is when the tenant has been paying rent to the landlord, and the landlord apparently has not been paying the mortgage.
Yeah.
So when the bank ends up owning a 2-flat or a 3-flat and the tenants have been paying, they're suddenly told that they have to get out, and they haven't done anything wrong. That's what Sheriff Dart was concerned about, was those people, not the ones who...
You talk about people that are losing their homes.
Tenants who are losing their homes through absolutely no fault of their own. They've been paying rent.
Yeah.
So I pay you the rent, but you do whatever with it and don't pay the mortgage, then the bank takes your house and I have to go too.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that he was concerned about.
Gotcha. And you're talking about, people who are losing their houses.
The house, the landlord loses a house that includes a rental property. The renter gets put out because the bank has foreclosed, but the renter has been paying, hasn't fallen behind. Okay. So that seems very unfair.
Yeah, it is.
And but a lot of people are losing their homes because they're not paying their mortgage, and we can help. At least there are certain times and situations in which you can work out forbearances, you can restructure loans, and we have professionals to help do that. So if I can give the number out.
Oh, absolutely,
of course,
please.
It's 773-262-2290. 262-2290 is the Community Development Corporation.
It's the community, and is it a longer name like the Community Development Corporation of Rogers Park?
Rogers Park Community Development Corporation, or PCDC.
And right across the street from the Heartland Cafe.
Right across the street from the Heartland Cafe. You can get a cup of coffee and go over and sit and talk to us.
That's cool. And let's talk a little bit, we still have a couple minutes, so just tell us a little bit about the Rogers Park Community Council.
Absolutely. As I said, initially we have several different services. We have a youth program that's just starting up in January, right after school comes back, in Armstrong School. We're excited about that. It's sort of a tutoring and encouraging study skills, and so we're excited about our partnership with Armstrong. We have a domestic violence program that we were also discussing off the air that's unique. It's where we get referrals for every domestic violence case report that gets issued in the 24th and 20th districts, and have the opportunity to call and offer court advocacy to the victims. So we do that. That's called the VASP program. We also have, we call it our Immigration Resource Center. It really consists of one really fabulous employee named Victor, who just kind of is one-stop shopping for whatever your issues are, stemming from being a newcomer to the country. And also we have a senior program. Kathy Bazone is our senior director, and she's just one in a million. She also is one-stop shopping, does absolutely everything for her clients. So that, in a nutshell, is what we do at RPCC.
And there's a lot. And how many people do you have actually working at RPCC?
We've got about 12 people at RPCC, and there's 6 people at RPCDC.
Wow, that's quite a bit for a community organization. That's great.
Yeah, it's and these are tough times, though. So membership is encouraged. It's very affordable, but it helps us.
Well, we can't talk about money on here. We have to be careful about that.
Okay, we won't talk about money. But it is a membership organization, so.
Okay.
I just want to say that.
And anyway, so if you want to call them, you call at
773-338-7722.
773-338-7722. Our guest has been Elizabeth Vitell, the Executive Director of the Rogers Park Community Council, and also the Community Development Corporation of Rogers Park. One of them at 1500 on the 1500 block of Morris, the other on the 1400 block of Lunt, across from the Heartland. We want to thank you very much for joining us today. Thanks, Sonny Hersh, our entire technical crew. Check us out on the web at ntnm.org, communitypolicingcaps24.org. Thanks, everybody. Be well. Bye-bye.